Okay, we're back. Did you pause the video? No, you did not. Nobody pauses videos. Let's go try out this little exercise. So I'm going to go make a new playground page. I'm going to rename this playground page that I have here from my playground to intro to arrays, or just arrays perhaps. And I'm going to go make a new playground page by doing edit and plus. They're keyboard shortcuts if you remember them. I think it was a Command Shift N maybe, right? Something like that. Right, so I'm going to call this exercise 1. And press done and choose exercise 1. Okay, so let's go create this array of numbers. You can call it anything you want. I didn't actually specify that. I'm going to call it nums. Right, I like to use plural for arrays, so, or unless you want to call it array. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, oops, can't type, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, typing is hard, folks. Okay, so there's an array. You don't necessarily have to have spaces between every comma and the elements, right? But it's just a stylistic choice. Okay, so as you can see, there was no issue when I missed out a space over here. You can even put them on multiple lines, and Swift is perfectly fine. Some people like to have one element per line if it's going to be a big element. Okay, so up to you. For me, I'll just leave it as it is. So first thing I wanted you to do was to remove the element at index number 4. So you just need to type nums.remove. And again, let's try and use autocomplete as much as we can. Just press enter, remove at :4. Okay, simple enough. So every time you do this, let's just print it out to check whether we have done the right thing. Okay, there it is, run. Okay, so it's pretty easy to know that you've done the right thing because we asked you to remove a stray 3 that was in the middle of the array. Okay, so next, let's go append 11, 12, 13, and 14. There's actually more than one way to do this, and I'll show you as many as I can think of. And if you have any more to suggest, let us know in the comments. Nums.append, right, again, let's use autocomplete. Saves me typing how many things? 1, 2, 3. At least 3 characters. Press enter. And I'm just going to put in 11, right? Nums.append 11, nums.append 12, nums.append 13, and nums.append 14. And let's print nums just to make sure that everything is right. Okay, simple enough, right? So that's one way of appending these 4 items to my array. There are actually more ways to do so. Let me show you another way, right? So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to say nums.append. And if you looked very carefully, you'll notice that there is another autocomplete for append. Let's try that. So append contents of : sequence. And if you read the documentation down here, it says adds the elements of a sequence to the end of the array. What's a sequence? Well, a sequence is another array. Okay, so let's try this. Nums.append contents of 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, and print nums. Let's try this out. Hey, that worked. And it's 2 whole less lines of code. Or is it 3? 3 whole less lines of code. Okay, so fantastic. There's yet another way which involves even less typing. So that makes me really happy too. So you can actually do this. You can do nums plus equals 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, if you print nums, what that does is it actually just takes the second array and adds it on to the first. Okay, and this is called overloading the plus operator, right? Because you know, plus actually means you take 2 numbers and add them together. But if you take 2 arrays and add them together, what it does is it joins them, right? Swift joins them as long as they can legally be joined, right? I won't go into, what that actually means in real life. But if they're of the same type, okay, Swift is just going to smoosh them together into one big array. All right, so pretty nice, pretty nice. Now, the other thing we needed to do was we needed to add some numbers to the beginning of our array. So there's no nums.prepend, unfortunately. There's a nums.prefix, but I don't think that does what we want it to. So you can read the documentation. You can see, returns a subsequence containing the ini. That's probably not what we want. I'm not going to finish reading that. So we can probably use nums.insert. Okay, you can do nums.insert -1 at 0. So we need to insert them one by one, right? We insert -1 at the beginning first. Then if we want to insert the next one, we want to insert -2 at 0, and so on and so forth. But you know me, I want to do this the faster way. So I'm just going to look at insert, and you can see, ooh, there you go, right? Contents of collection at array int.index, right? So that looks really complex, but what it really means is at the contents of this array, -3, -2, -1, at position number 0. Okay, so print nums, and you should be good to go. All right. And there's an even easier way to do this. The even easier way to do this is nums equals the array that you want, -3, -2, -1, plus nums. You can't use plus equals, right? Because plus equals means you take this thing and you add something to the end, right? It always means nums plus something. So you have to say nums equals something else plus nums. Right, you take the right-hand side, it squishes it together, and it saves it back into nums. Okay, so let's run it again. We should get the exact same thing. The last two things we need to do are, we need to insert 0 at the right place. So you just need to know where it goes. So this is position 0, position 1, position 2. We want it at position 3. So let's do that. Nums.insert 0 at position 3. And finally, let's print out our final thing to make sure that we have the exactly correct little array. Okay, so that's it for arrays from me. Right, you might want to learn more about arrays. It's a fairly tricky topic. Right, there's actually a lot of stuff you can do. And the great news is that all this is available in Swift Playgrounds, and I'd like to show that to you. So close this playground for a bit. Don't worry, you'll come back to it. Don't be too sad. And I'd like you to look for Learn to Code 2. As you can see, it's at the bottom of my screen. Okay, if you already have it downloaded, you can go ahead and search for it somewhere in my playgrounds. But if you don't, you can just tap on it, it'll re-download it, and you get a new copy. This might take a while, so I'm gonna sit here and twiddle my thumbs for a bit. It's a few hundred megabytes, so there we go, right? So that's Learn to Code 2, right? There is, of course, Learn to Code 1, which you can also go back and try out as well. The Learn to Code series is a whole bunch of fun little programming exercises that teach you how to code in Swift, right? Not all of it is super relevant to what you're going to do with SwiftUI, but some of it is. And as you can see, the first thing it shows you is variables. By all means, variables are pretty useful because we also taught them to you. So you can use this as a way to revise what you've learned. And the way it works is that you get all these fun little puzzles, like over here, and they're all nice and graphical. You get these super cute characters called Bite and Drip and Drop and Banana. I know one of them is called Bite, but that's about it. Okay? And they'll ask you to type code and things will happen. Okay? What I'd like to point out to you is there is a whole section on arrays, which I think is pretty useful for us to know. So you can head over here, go to arrays. If you go to introduction, it'll tell you a bit more about arrays, and let's see what their example is. I gave you the example of a class, right? So yours are, this is an ingredients, right? So if you want to make something, right, you might want to make an ingredient list as an array. Okay, so you can see they're explaining the same things we did with 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. And they're going to make you go through a few little exercises about storing information and iterating and things like that, right? Which we haven't actually gone into very much. Okay, so do take a moment to try this out. And that's it for this little video, which has run pretty long, but I hope you learned something new about arrays. All right, if you like what you saw, please let us know. Please like and subscribe. Give us some feedback in the comments. Drop us an email. Say hi on Twitter. And I will see you soon.